Hello there, fellow summoners. Mad Dog HT here. We're going back in for another path in 7.4.5. This is the team I'm going to bring. I'm post editing this one because I thought I was recording my commentary while I was going along, but I didn't. It wasn't on. So this has superiority with even footing. So if you have the same class, you get the superiority. And then with that, every 6 debuffs that get purified, they're going to get a passive stun. And they have a 100% chance to purify debuff if you don't have any buffs on you, and then 30% reduced chance for each buff. So the more buffs you have, the less chance. And then it's got stun vulnerability, and then from my cold dead hands, each buff nullified, staggered, or fate sealed, you do a burst of direct damage. So that's going to be really interesting because you're going to find an interaction in this that I forgot about that seems, it doesn't seem bugged. It is bugged in my mind, but you'll see that. So first up, we're going to get our units, which is nice. It goes into the chest. You got to complete the path to get those, but pick up the units. We're going to go in on Spider-Man with Guillotine 2099, and so basically, ideally, I think you want to have the same class. I mean, you can use somebody that doesn't. I even think like somebody like Venom here would do really well because, you know, he's going to have 3 to 4 buffs most likely at all times. So Spider-Man won't be able to purify, and then you can just parry heavy and do a lot of damage that way. But I just chose the route to go and get superiority for all my fights and just try it out. Guillotine, she has an armor up, so there is a 30% chance that the like stuns and whatever fail. The one thing that I do not like about this node is there is no counter to tell you how many debuffs you've purified. So it's either 12 or 6. If you have the same class, it's 6 debuffs purified. If you have 12, if you're not at the same class, it's 12, but there's nothing to show you that. So, you know, unless you're really paying attention to like the purify prompts that come up, and you're counting those, which, you know, for a little bit I tried to do, but it's just too distracting. You know, as far as when those passive stuns come up, you really just don't know. And it would be really nice if there was a counter, because then you could time it. You could time some specials to be launched during that passive stun timer, stuff like that. But so for the most part, it kind of catches me by surprise. Guillotine, you know, there's nothing really great about her for this matchup. I'm just using her to get ramped up here for the boss. And, you know, you're going to want to stick your parries, your reparries, your triple parries, because sometimes you might have to parry a whole bunch because they might get all purified. So you just got to be aware of that. I'm going to try to be aware of him evading, doing most of my combos with just, you know, 4-hit combos ending in a light attack. And then, you know, if he evades, back off real quick. If you try a medium, you're probably going to get smacked if he evades you. And then I'm going to try to get some heavy knockdowns when I can to take out his tech Stark shield thing. Yeah, I'll let this play through. We do end up getting Stark down with minimal health lost, and we end up finishing with a special 3 when he's 5% or less. But I'll let this play out, and I'll see you in the next fight. Alright, so we did get him at 5% or under, which is a guaranteed kill on the special 3 with guillotine. So we banked the combo going into the next fight. Lost 14% health, not too bad. I was able to play around that. Now here is a really interesting bug. So if you Fate Seal, Nullify, Stagger, you get big damage, right? Well, check this out. So I'm going in with Surfer. He gets armor breaks with the heavies and the special ones. So I'm going to start out with the heavy, and check this out. Check this out. I heavy and I lose half of my health from those armor breaks. So she starts out with an armor, and I did experience this once in off-season Alliance War. I took Surfer on the path where you get shocked. It's like static defense and return policy and whatever. And his armor breaks count as some form of nullify, stagger, or whatever. So if they have an armor break up and you use Surfer and you launch a heavy or a special one, you're gonna take big damage. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this really sucks. I can't launch a heavy, I can't launch a special one. We'll have to stick to special 2 or special 3 because I don't want to take, if I heavy one more time, I'm gonna take huge damage. Well, a little bit through this fight, I figure out that, hey, I actually probably can throw a heavy or a special one, so long as she just doesn't have an armor up. And that's going to allow me to start getting some of the buffs, but it's going to come out pretty late. But we do end up finishing this fight and soloing it. It doesn't showcase Surfer being all that great for this lane. Obviously, I would absolutely avoid it, at least for Angela, because she has armor ups. But for Captain Marvel or CGR, he could work for CGR because CGR's armor up is temporary and whatnot. But Angela's is, basically every time she drops below a bar, she's gonna get one. But you can see I have been working around that. I got 2 of the power gains and a fury up. I was gonna see if I could get, the armor, but you got to play around her armor. But anyways, we do solo the fight, but I definitely would not recommend bringing Silver Surfer. And I don't know, maybe I'll report this to Kabam. I don't think I ever did with the Alliance War fight because I fought a Surfer versus CGR in off-season war, and you don't take damage, but you give him a lot of power gain, and it was kind of annoying. So, but we get through that fight. Then we got this Mysterio fight. We're going to go in with Warlock. So one thing with Warlock that I found is that his infection will basically turn off the purify part of the node, which is really nice. It's nice to get the passive stuns and stuff, and you will get some because he doesn't turn it off entirely. The infection ability accuracy reduction, it's not 100%, but once you start getting like 3 infections, it's pretty much guaranteed that it's not going to fail. And look at that heavy 24k crit on the heavy stun. So if you do get a stun in, I'm just going to be doing parry heavies. You can get the bleeds off. He may or may not purify those bleeds, but that bleed's going for 928 a tick, which is pretty dang awesome. Getting some nice damage under the stun. And then I'm just going to build up to a special 2. And this first special 2 that I throw ends up triggering the armor breaks that he purifies, and then he gets the passive stun, and I'm halfway through it, and I'm getting some pretty decent damage. So with that passive stun, so I think it's going to be right here. So yeah, boom. It's pretty decent. Didn't get a ton of crits because there weren't all the armor breaks up, but it's pretty good. And pretty much for the rest of this fight is parry heavy. Try to push him to special 2, but he is going to throw quite a few special ones, and then you just got to wait out that reflection timer window. Another 24k crit, 928 a tick bleed. So pretty awesome. You can see that my parries are pretty regularly sticking. He's purifying some debuffs, but nothing too bad. And yeah, this fight's almost over. I think I get hit on this next special one. Wait out that reflection timer. Or maybe it's one more. Maybe it gets off one more special one. And we're just gonna parry. You can see that our parries are sticking and he's not purifying those, which is really nice. We're gonna launch off special 2. I think this special one I get clipped by. Yeah. That's alright though. Yeah, Warlock is a very good option for the techs in this lane because his infection definitely does bypass the node to purify. And yeah, look at those crits. 20, 24, 26k, 1000 crits on those heavies. That parry vulnerability damage comes in really nice. Alright, so next up we got Captain Marvel movie. And I was debating whether to use Annihilus or Knull here to try out. And I was checking at Aunt May. All of Annihilus's and Knull's attacks are physical, with exception to Annihilus's special 2, which is a energy attack. So I just decided to go in with Annihilus, and the reason why I was checking this was because I didn't want to give her a lot of extra charges by like just regular basic attacks and having her always, you know, having her binary already. So we go in with Annihilus, and the reason why I brought Annihilus was because he has access to a lot of armor breaks and his stifle debuffs. So I figured that I would be able to get a lot of passive stuns and that she'd be purifying everything. And you know, it turned out okay, but I was a little bit underwhelmed. Granted, my Annihilus isn't awakened, so that kind of doesn't help. Plus, you do want a lot of armor breaks and stuff to get those Furies and whatnot. And this is just, it's a rank 2, but I figured I'd give him a try. And see if there would be some kind of crazy interaction. And, you know, he does have his rod up, so there's a 30% chance that the purification of the debuffs that I put on Captain Marvel doesn't happen. So, you know, it turned out okay. I think somewhere in this fight, I try to go for a full evade on the special 2. She wasn't in binary. I probably should have just blocked the second part, but I missed it. Yeah, I'm just going to try to stick to her special 1. The special, I'm not going to throw the special 2 because it does give the energy charges. I didn't want to give her extra charges to ramp up on. But the special 3, it puts on 12 stifles. I think it's 12. No, it's actually 10 stifles. So I was like, well, she's pretty much going to purify at least 6 of those, if not almost all of them. And so you just see there, she came out of that special 3 stun, so I just went in, got a heavy off. You know, the damage from Annihilus isn't all that impressive. I thought it would be a little bit more fun on this fight. To be honest, it wasn't. Normally, Annihilus doesn't do all that great. You know, he's not like the best attacker or anything. He does have his uses though. But I think, you know, if you do have him awakened and ranked, he's an option. I would think I would rather prefer to he be at rank 3 and awakened. But yeah, I'll let this play out. We do solo this fight, but again, I do get hit by a special 2 somewhere, and I come out of the fight with not a lot of health, which is fine because I was only planning on using him for this one fight, and then we're going to end up swapping him out for somebody at the end of the map to get a full health synergy champ. So it worked out. Yeah, right here is where I tried to evade the special 2 and I got clipped at the last beam. Oh well, so I'll let this play out and I'll see you at the end. Alright, so I thought that special 3 might be able to kill. It didn't quite do it, but we did get the passive stun coming out and then another stun. And we were able to finish her off before she could even try to get me with another special 2. So Annihilus, he worked. Not great, but, you know, he's an option. I'm sure there's other options on, you know, I think Venom would be a great option for both her and Angela, just because you could parry heavy without having to worry about the passive and the purification stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. And for this one, we're just going to go back in with Warlock. You know, we do have to keep in mind his different modes. The red mode that he starts out in, you don't want a heavy. The next mode, once you get a bar of power, you're going to change to yellow, which you don't want to throw a special attack. And then the last one after that is the blue mode. You don't really want to block a lot. You'll get a concussion and give him some power gain. But, you know, when you're out of those modes, so like right now we're in the yellow, we're just going to parry heavy and build up to our special 2, and once we get to our special 2, he'll switch modes, and then we can throw a pretty nice special 2 and get some damage. But a lot of the damage that I'm going to get is from doing parry heavies. Get a lot of damage because one, it's going to be under the stun. He's got the stun vulnerability. You got that bleed that likely can stick and tick for quite a bit. And he's doing like 20, like that was 24k about on the crit. So a lot of damage on the heavies. You just got to manage what mode he's in. So like right now he's in the red mode. So you don't want a heavy because you'll get the concussion, give him like a power gain and stuff like that. But yeah. So I will let this play out. We do solo this fight as well. Fairly straightforward. I'm sticking to his special ones. Special 2s can hurt if you don't fully evade that. And the special one's not too hard to fully evade. So I'll see you at the end. All right, we're finishing up, and man, those crits, 26k heavy crit, plus those bleeds, it's really nice. Warlock works really well with that infection. He just bypasses the node pretty easily. And then last up, this is going to be a long fight. Didn't know exactly how this was going to turn out, but I'm going to go in with with Knull on this CGR. So, you know, Knull has access to his Abyss debuffs, plus like armor breaks on the special 2. And I thought I'd get some decent passive stuns and stuff in there, but I think this is like over like a 200 hit fight. The one nice thing is you do get the armor break on because he's a villain at the start of the fight, so you get willpower healing the whole fight. I do end with a full yellow bar. I don't get hit, but you know, any chip damage that you might take, you can willpower heal back. I was checking Knull's abilities. I haven't used him much. I recently awakened him, and I took him to rank 2 a couple weeks ago, but I haven't really used him much for anything yet. So I was just checking to make sure that like none of his abilities would nullify any buffs, because I didn't want to take any of that direct damage. And yeah, we're gonna get quite a bit passive stuns just because we're gonna be putting on a lot of those abyssal debuffs, and we don't have any buffs on us unless we dex, or we're in corruption, and for a short period of time you get that like unblockable, unstoppable. But yeah, he's gonna be purifying a lot of the debuffs that I put on, and we're just gonna be baiting special ones all day long and countering. And then when we can, we try to get some decent damage coming out of the heavies, but the damage was a little bit lackluster just because I'm not going to be able to get the armor breaks on him. But yeah, it was interesting because it says that he's immune. And so when I threw that special 2, I'm like, shouldn't he have been stunned? Because I get 10 armor breaks for the special 2. Maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, I think I end up throwing quite a bit of the special ones instead, and we get them corrupted and get some like damage through that. I'll let this play out. This is a fairly long fight, but again, it was pretty nice to get that armor break on us because we can just willpower heal the whole fight. And if you slip up, you can probably heal back quite a bit. I don't slip up in this fight, but you know, any of the chip damage is healed back, which is really, really nice. And then you just got to be aware that he's most likely gonna purify those parry stuns, and then just be ready for when the passive stun comes up. And again, I think it's really annoying that we don't get like a count of how many times a debuff has been purified before getting that stun, passive stun, because you just don't know when it's going to happen, and it kind of stinks. But I'll let this play out, and I'll see you at the end. All right, we're finishing up. Pretty clean fight. 203 hits, full yellow bar. I'll take it. Definitely not fast. Definitely not, I would say, effective. But I don't know. I'd probably use somebody else if I were to do that again. And now we're going to go get our last chunk of units and move up to the bosses. And we haven't taken the Mr. Negative boss yet, but because of the team that I got with me, I'm going to go and do the second shot at Namor. We're going to drop Annihilus and bring in Morningstar. Morningstar is going to help amp up the degen damage from Guillotine 2099. And if things go terrible, I could use her as an option against Namor just because she's bleed immune. But Warlock would be my second go in. But the one thing that I did overlook was the synergy that I have with Guillotine and Warlock. When you get bleed or poisoned and you trigger that immunity, you gain like a bar power. And I forgot about that. But this one has Crisis of Opportunity, so it's every 20 seconds you want to be throwing a special when that timer comes up. Otherwise, you're going to get degened. It's got Biohazard, powerful from afar, so if you're far away from him, he's going to get power gain buff. And then what's the last node? Aggressive. And so you're going to see he is pretty aggressive. He likes to throw his specials. Now one thing, I got one heavy off at the beginning to get a combo shield going, but you're gonna see this gets quite spicy pretty quick. So I didn't use any of the pre-fights so that I could use like the special ones and get full power drains. But you can see, like at the very beginning, I got that power gain shot up to a special one. And then here I'm trying to time this. I throw the special. I was hoping that was a special one, but the synergy pumped me up to special 2. We crossed that degen timer thing, and I didn't realize, yeah, right there, he had already gotten his rage stacks so quick. And he shot up to special 3 and he was able to throw it, and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. And I'm like, right, am I dead? And I'm like, no, I'm not dead. And now he keeps throwing off his specials. We're just going to keep retaliating. We didn't drop below 15%. We would have gotten the regen. And, we're just going to try to keep throwing our special. We got that special one, and it was just across that timer. We're getting that Fury. We're going to get a couple combo shields, I think, just to make sure that I don't lose my combo and lose all that damage. And then we just got to make sure that we keep throwing specials when that timer goes out. Otherwise, we're going to get degen. The degen's not terrible. I know my Nimrod got degen quite a bit. And I didn't realize the timer was on the defender. I thought it would be on me. And I think that's what happened in the Nimrod fight. I thought it was bugged, but I guess maybe I'll have to go watch it back. But the timer is on Namor. And this is coming really close. We get that power gain synergy. We get past special 1, throw that, and we're going to finish him off right here and get the solo. So it got kind of sketchy with that special 3, but we survived it and then finished him off. So Guillotine's a pretty good option. The synergy with Warlock, and I think it's Sentinel and somebody else, definitely does help because you can get specials pretty quick and make sure that you're always ready to throw something, either special 1 or 2, to bypass that degen. But yeah, hope this helped give you a few ideas of who to use, who not to use. Definitely wouldn't use, at least I wouldn't use Surfer against Angela. Surfer would work for Captain Marvel and CGR for sure. But trying out a few guys. Some of them didn't work out as best as I would have liked, like Annihilus. I wasn't really expecting him to be great, but I thought he would be a little bit better. But hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.